I'm Katie Sewell, and this is A Bittersweet Moment with Tiffany Parks.
Hello and welcome to The Bittersweet Life. I'm Tiffany Parks, and this is your midweek Bittersweet Moment. It is the tail end of July, and the summer Italian August holidays are looming on the horizon. If you know anything about Italian culture, or if you've ever been to Italy during August, you will know that the vast majority of Italians take their summer vacations in August. It is so common in Italy that you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who isn't taking at least one weekend of their holidays during the month of August. There is a reason for this. It's not just that all of Italians like to go on vacation at the same time, something that can be a little bit baffling as an outsider when you observe this phenomenon, but actually there is a reason behind the Italian August holidays. It is very, very ingrained in the Italian psyche that you go on vacation in August. And it all dates back 2,000 years to the time of Emperor Augustus. In the year 18 BC, Emperor Augustus institutes what he calls the Ferie Augusti, the holidays or festivals of Augustus. This was originally a one-day holiday or day of rest that took place on August 1st, and it coincided with the end of the grain harvest. So it was a day in which people who, mostly agricultural workers, would have a state-instituted day of rest, a holiday. It's one of the first holidays, at least in Rome, in ancient Rome, that didn't coincide with an important event to do with a god or a goddess, but was more specifically a holiday that was meant for rest. During the rest of the month, after this Ferragosto holiday, festivals and other events would take place throughout the month. Horse races and other festivals would take place, and some people, the people who had the ability to, would actually leave the city. Now, this was not something that was available to most people. You had to be pretty elite if you were able to travel even very short distances, and people didn't go very far, maybe into the nearby countryside or the nearby seaside. But this is when summer, August travel in Italy really begins, and the sense of a vacation, because really there was no real concept of vacation for workers, at least not in Rome, up until this time. Now, later on, centuries later, after Rome had become no longer an empire, but was a part of the Catholic state, the Papal States, the Catholic Church institutes the feast day of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary in the 7th century. Now, if you know anything about Christian holidays and feast days, you know that almost all of them line up almost exactly with ancient pagan festivals. And Ferragosto is no different. So now in Italy, in the modern country, we celebrate the national holiday of Ferragosto, which of course comes from the words Ferie Augusti, on the 15th of August to coincide with the Feast of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary. Now, most Italians do not consider this feast day an important religious festival. It's not a day that you spend, for the most part, obviously, going to church or participating in a religious procession or something like that. Ferragosto is rather all about being on vacation. It is the Roman, I should say Italian, holiday par excellence. It's the day that everybody is either at the beach, on vacation, in the country, usually celebrating by having a big meal with their family out of doors. And anybody who has the possibility to leave the city will do so. Italian cities are really deserted on Ferragosto and the weekend that is closest to Ferragosto. And really, the 2 middle weeks of August are pretty much the highest and the most expensive, if you're planning a trip, holiday period in Italy. This is because actually during the fascist regime of Mussolini in the 1920s, the state promoted Ferragosto as a mass leisure holiday. And they actually lowered the train prices so that working class Italians, ordinary people, could actually travel and take a true vacation for the first time in modern history. Because, as I said, really, traveling during August was something that in ancient times was reserved for the elite, and even in more modern times was something that most people could not afford. And this changes at the beginning of the 20th century with the institution of this holiday period. And almost all businesses close for at least 2 weeks during summer. So I'm not just talking about restaurants that are family run, shops that are family run. I'm talking about banks, law firms, government offices. A few government offices will stay open, but many businesses and organizations simply shut their doors for a minimum of 2 weeks. And it used to be the entire month of August. It used to be that almost every person in Italy had off from the 1st of August to the 31st of August. And you would see signs on restaurants and shop windows saying chiuso per ferie, the 1st to the 31st of August. Now, these holidays have been restricted a little bit. Businesses don't close for quite such a long time. And restaurants and shops also, generally speaking, will close for a shorter amount of time. Although I believe in the smaller towns, they'll close for longer. And so if you ask yourself, well, why does everybody travel in August? Why wouldn't you travel at a different time when prices are cheaper and it's not so crowded? Well, if you work for a company that closes for the month of August, you don't really have a choice. That's when you take your vacation. And so you can blame Mussolini for this, or you can give credit to Mussolini if you think that having state mandated holidays is a good thing, which on the one hand, it is a very good thing because we haven't had that forever. And of course, Italians, as everyone in the world knows, they do get a lot more time off than people in the United States do. But I will say that it's not as quote unquote bad as it used to be, depending on if you consider this a bad thing or a good thing. But if you are a visitor, if you are a tourist who is coming to Rome, or Italy in general, during these August holidays, it can be a little bit frustrating to find so many places closed. All the restaurants that you had hoped to visit closed. All of the little boutiques and the vintage shops that you were hoping to find some great things to take back home closed. You'll find tourist restaurants that are open. You'll find big international chain brands that are open, but you will not, unfortunately, find a lot of those little local corner restaurants that, are kind of the hidden gems of the city. And definitely the local shops and boutiques will most likely be closed. So I give you fair warning that you're not going to have the entire city, whatever city you happen to be in, it will not be entirely available to you. But there is one little silver lining around the cloud, and that is that there are a lot fewer people in the major cities during August. Obviously, that is especially true for the locals, but even tourists. There are fewer tourists in Italy in August. It's going to be much more crowded in June, July, and September and May. So you'll find the city less crowded, less clogged with people. There'll probably be a higher ratio of tourists to locals, which is maybe unfortunate, but you won't have to deal with as much crowding as you would at other times in high season. And one of the great things about coming to Rome in August is that in the morning at rush hour time, when the city has such a beautiful atmosphere, the air is nice and cool, and there's just something fresh and new and beautiful about the city. Most people miss it because they don't get up early enough. But if you do get up and you are out of your hotel by around 7 a.m., you're going to find a city that is eerily quiet, but in a beautiful way. There will not be the traffic that you would ordinarily hear and experience on a busy morning in a major city like Rome. And the same is true for the late afternoon. So I would say take advantage of that. Go back to your hotel in the middle of the day. As soon as you've had lunch, go and take a 3-hour nap. Stay out late, get up early, and you will enjoy a really beautiful city that way. Now, as for us, the Bittersweet Life is also going on vacation in August. So we are following those Italian traditions. We are going to be taking the entire month of August off. And we will, of course, be airing our archived episodes. So you can tune in. You still will get an episode every Monday. They will not be new episodes, but they will be episodes from our vast archives, which we know a lot of our listeners have not heard all of those episodes. So you'll get a chance to do that if you like in August. But over on our Patreon, we are putting out new episodes. If you don't know, we put out a new bonus episode every other Wednesday all year long, and we do not take August off for that. So if you feel like I cannot live without a new Bittersweet Life episode every week, well, come on over, join our Patreon for as little as $5 a month, which is less than the price of a coffee in most places. Not in Italy, but in most places in the US. You can get a bonus episode every other week. And these bonus episodes are often on topics that we wouldn't cover on the main show. We talk about kind of off-topic stuff. We go a little bit more personal. We go a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit rawer. And we've been putting out these episodes for several years now. That means that if you join our Patreon now, you will have access to an archive of bonus episodes that has, I don't know, I'd have to check, but I'm thinking probably hundreds, at least 100 bonus episodes have been produced so far. Katie will have to tell me if I'm off on that number, but many, many episodes. So you could listen to a new bonus episode every day of August, and you probably wouldn't hear them all. So if you'd like to join us, if you'd like to have access to these bonus episodes and other bonus content, please join us over there. You can find us at patreon.com/The Bittersweet Life Podcast. That's spelled Patreon. You can also, of course, find this link in our show notes. And bonus, you will be supporting the show you love at the same time. We are an independent podcast. We do not have advertisers, not yet anyway, because we don't enjoy listening to ads for the podcast that we listen to. So we don't want to make you guys listen to ads. And to keep that possible, to make that possible, we cannot do it without our generous supporters. So if you'd like to make sure that this podcast not only continues, but continues almost completely ad-free, then join us over on Patreon and you'll have the best of both worlds. We hope you have a wonderful summer vacation wherever you might happen to be and whenever you might happen to take it. And we will be back in early September with all new episodes. Bye.
We welcome your feedback, show topic ideas, or questions. You can always reach the show by emailing bittersweetlifepodcast@gmail.com or through thebittersweetlife.net.